Hello, everyone, and I'm Christina Giordano, the founder of Sold, your go-to resource for all things soulful entrepreneurship. And my philosophy is this: people can no longer be sold to, they must be sold to. This is selling with soul. This is marketing with integrity, where you no longer need to compromise your authenticity, your boundaries, your uniqueness, your wholeness. This is messaging in a way that actually reflects the transformation you provide because it's your story, your transformation, and nobody can compete with that. This is monetizing yourself in a way that honors your fullness, all of the pieces and parts of you that are meant to be divinely resourced. So join me every Wednesday to learn all of this and more. Let's jump right in. Today's episode is called But What If They Think I'm Weird? And today I'm getting a little personal, maybe even a little emotional about something that I know most, if not all, entrepreneurs experience. And that's the overwhelming and sometimes even crippling fear of what our peers might think of us about what we're doing. And I personally would turn this question around in my head all of the time. What if they make fun of me? What if they reject me? What if what I'm saying confuses them or doesn't make any sense? And if I recall back, there were several key moments where I recall a very specific anxiety I felt around this topic. So, one of them was when I started to talk about my work on social media in the first place back in 2020. Now, mind you, I've been in business since 2013 as Christina Giordano Consulting, but most of my business was coming from word of mouth and it was coming from the connections that I was making, which is all wonderful. But I really wanted to expand what I was doing. I wanted to reach a larger base of people. I wanted to have a sturdy foundation in how I was showing up and being seen and about my overall message and mission, which is all about selling with soul. But I still felt massive anxiety about it. So, I mean, imagine this. This is so from 2013 to 2020, I hadn't really stepped out in the way that I was planning to do in 2020. So, it was right after news broke about the pandemic. People weren't able to work. My colleagues didn't know what to do. The communities that I was a part of, they were all looking for answers. And so I had this idea. What if I did a 10-day challenge that included various ways to market yourself by cleaning up what was already out there and then also getting really specific about your messaging? So it was kind of like a clean out and then step up kind of vibe. And in the moment, I was thinking, oh my God, this is such a great idea. It will position me as a leader and it will be great for my business. Well, during the first post on day one, I felt like I was having a heart attack. I was utterly terrified. I was sweating. I was shaking. I remember freaking out about it to my husband too. And when I actually posted day one of this challenge, I had to delete it because it didn't look right. Like this was before I discovered, that app Spacey, I believe it's called, where they make the captions work so that there's paragraph lines between each paragraph, basically. Like it just there's something weird that happens in Instagram when you write a caption. They don't actually let you like do the line breaks, I think is what they're called. And so I was having tech issues while I'm having this massive heart attack over showing up for my business. And so after fixing it and then finally posting it correctly, I just obsessed over it. I read it over and over. I monitored the likes. I put my phone down for a bit and then would check again. It was just a lot. And so my first posting experience with the intention of posting as an authority really, really stretched me. And luckily, there have been several of those over time. And honestly, the more I did it, the less it would freak me out. And now I just post whatever I feel compelled to post. And there are some really vulnerable things I post. And, a lot of them are me talking face to camera, which I know scares a lot of people. It's intimidating. But again, practice doesn't necessarily make perfect, but it makes things a lot easier to do. Um, and so with practice, I got better and better at it. And then also it became a little less stretchy for me to show up in that way. But sometimes I still get the feeling of, what if they think I'm weird? like, what if they think I'm weird? And, this is another example of that feeling. Recently, I deleted the Instagram channel where I was doing this posting. So what essentially happened was I had an Instagram page, but it was used as a personal page. And then in 2020, it morphed into like a full-on personal brand, which included elements of my business. And then it became predominantly business oriented because I didn't want to share so much personal info. Um, so it evolved over time. But with that evolution, it became really apparent that the energy of it was just so scattered and chaotic. And while I could have simply archived a lot of my post, it was like the essence of that page just like wasn't there anymore. And I remember talking to a colleague about this, and she was shocked. She was like, "Well, what if you get only 10 followers? And what if this is a horrible idea?" And she was just not behind it in any way whatsoever. But it was one of those things where I really had to fight for, and it truly felt like a fight. I had to fight for the ability to do that and to know that that was right for me. And when I think about it, you know, the people who, or it was really more of a person, the person who conveyed that that was weird what I was doing, she was full on projecting her own insecurities onto that situation. She was full on um, projecting her limiting beliefs onto me. And it took me a really long time to fully understand that and know that me sticking by what I truly believed was me discerning through that noise. And so that was an instance of where that fear of what if they think I'm weird, that actually became my reality of someone literally saying to me, "That's weird. Why would you do that?" And so, in overcoming that and in realizing that the deleting of that page, despite the fact that I had 1,000 something followers, like whatever, big deal. Um, the deleting of that felt cathartic for me, and it empowered me to not only create a business page, but also a personal page so that I can further streamline my content, but make it applicable to the people who actually want to be there for that content. Like I'm no longer going to be switching up my pages or the themes of my page and what I plan to talk about on each page, despite who's following and why. I want it to be really intentional. I want the energy to be clear and clean. And this is the way I did it. So I'm sure that people listening or watching this think, oh my God, I could never do that. That's like starting over and it freaks me out. I built so much clout and all this and all that. I will say that I have more engagement now with less than 100 people on each page than I ever did before when I had over 1,000. So, if anything, that says that there is some vibes to things that have reached their expiration date. And at that page, that old page of mine, which by the way, even changed names multiple times, that old page of mine, it had reached a point of, this was a great experiment and a great experience. You learned a lot here. You shared a lot here. You posted a lot here. And the people that really truly wanted to continue following you did. They're still sticking around. And by the way, now you have more people who are focused on what you actually are interested in posting. You have more people who are engaging with you than ever before. You have more people who are truly feeling aligned to your word and to your work. So while it was like a total, oh my God, what if they think I'm weird for doing this? And they did, it was great. It was good for me. So even though I still get the feeling of what if they think I'm weird, it's true. I mean, I'm in new territory. Business isn't something that's really, at its root, it's not really soulful. It hasn't been practiced soulfully in the past. And the way that I'm doing it now, which I will reveal over time, will probably be considered insane. Like, yes, maybe I am a little weird for the things that I do. We'll see though. But either way, I can still be seen as weird. And so can every other person that I help, the body workers, the coaches, the shamans, the therapists, the psychics, all of them. They're working in ways that is truly healing in a deeper way. And they are speaking truths that the collective absolutely needs to hear. We're shifting paradigms. We're evolving as a species. We're letting go of old beliefs, old ways of thinking, old ways of being. And the thought leaders are of our time are definitely more soulful and therefore possibly a little bit weird because the people who tend to do things differently are going to be seen as a little bit weird. And that's actually okay. Like, it's okay. I'm glad I'm doing things differently. And so, in thinking about all of this, I thought, finally, I finally thought this. I thought, well, so what? Look at who I've become over the years. I went from watching on the sidelines to being fully in the arena. I went from not saying much to fully speaking up. I went from hiding in plain sight to fully owning my expertise. And frankly, unless you're in this arena with me, fully speaking your truth and owning your power, I don't care if you think I'm weird. You don't get it. I don't care if you think I'm weird. So, next time you're feeling the sting of other people's perceptions, judgments, and opinions, remember that you're the one showing up. You're the one being seen. You're the one who's shining. Let it be bright. All right, that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I'll see you next week. But in the meantime, as always, be well and take care.